Hello, Aubrey. How's it going today?
I'm great. How are you, Lindsay?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Glad to be back on the mic after having taken a little bit of time off. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we going today with the
Okay, I have a
episode?
question for you. Do
Okay.
you practice any sports?
Oh, I do. Well, let's see. Do I practice any sports? I play sports, yes.
Oh, it's an
I
interesting differentiation. Do you
Yeah.
practice sports? Do you play
hmm
sports? Do you just try to do sports? It depends on the level at which you are playing, right?
Yes, this could be confusing, but we're going to clear all of this up for our listeners today. This is based on a mistake that we noticed, right, in our community. Aubrey, what was the mistake that we heard?
Yeah, someone was talking about wanting to be proactive, and they said, I've been practicing to be proactive. And this is really interesting. So I shared that we would instead say, I'm trying to be proactive,
Yeah.
right? But this is really tricky when we use try, when we use practice, and with sports, when we would just say play, honestly, right?
Right.
But this
That
is
felt more appropriate to answer your question at the top of the show.
But what's really interesting is I'll often tell my daughter, go practice basketball because it's not like she's playing a basketball game. I want her to go practice shooting hoops and dribbling,
Yes.
and that's different. So it's crazy
Yes.
how we use all of these different verbs depending on what exactly we mean, what exactly we're doing.
Yeah, and this matters for connection, guys, because this is about the things that we are trying to improve, the things that we're
Right.
doing in life that we're putting our mind energy towards that we think matter, right? These
Exactly.
activities that we think are worth our time.
Exactly. So, for example, this student who was talking about being proactive. What an amazing thing to connect with others about, because you're definitely going to be talking to others who also are trying to be proactive, and you can share strategies, right? You want to be able to talk about these types of goals, and you need the
Yes.
language to do that. So I'm excited for all we're going to share today.
Yeah, so good. Guys, if you love our style, it's connection, not perfection. We show you how to connect in any moment using the English language. Then go ahead and hit follow. We publish 5 days a week over here on the show, and don't miss a single episode. Right, Aubrey?
Absolutely, right? Wherever you listen to your podcasts, hit follow so that you never miss an episode. All right,
Yes.
Lindsay, let's dive in, right? So
Okay.
we're going to talk about why we should say, I've been trying to be proactive, because being proactive is a behavior, right? Not a
Yes.
skill. So this is interesting.
Yes. So you're trying to change your behavior, but you're practicing a skill. So again, you try to change your behavior, but you practice a skill. Interesting. So
Yeah.
let's go through when we might use trying to talk
Yeah, if
about
we're talking
things.
about behavior or habits, for example, I'm trying to wake up earlier. I'm trying to sleep in. I wake
know.
up too early. Or goals,
Oh,
right? I'm
yeah,
trying to sleep
goals.
through the night. I'm trying to finish this book by Monday, right? This
Yeah.
is what we would say we're trying to do.
Yeah, or you're attempting something difficult, right? Japanese is not easy to learn. So she's trying to learn Japanese.
Yeah,
Right?
this is interesting because for some language, you might say like, oh, I'm learning Spanish, I'm learning English. And with these more difficult languages, we might say that, right? Oh, I'm trying to learn to
Yeah.
write Chinese. I'm trying to learn to speak Arabic, when it's emphasizing the difficulty level.
Yeah, you might correct someone and say, I heard you're learning Japanese. And you might say, oh, I'm trying to learn Japanese.
Yeah, we
right?
almost say that to be funny sometimes, right?
Yeah.
If you asked
Yeah.
me what sports I play, I'm going to say, I try to play pickleball if I feel like I'm not very good at it yet, right?
Yeah. It's a way of just, I don't know, just putting context around things immediately.
Yeah, humility, right? It's kind of a funny way to try to be humble, but also lifestyle changes. You might say, I'm trying to eat healthier.
Yeah, or personality traits. For example, he's trying to be more patient. I mean, I'm sure we can all identify things we are trying to be more of or less of, right?
Exactly. And it is so
Yeah.
interesting how with so many of these, I probably wouldn't say, I'm eating healthier. I'm being more patient, right? Because there is a level of humility here, and we're sharing that like I'm making an effort here, but I'm not
Yeah.
perfect. And it's interesting how that is implied by the language.
Yeah. Is there anything, Aubrey, in your household that people are trying to do more of right now or trying to do
Yes,
less
I was
of?
sharing it with Lindsay that we are trying to be on screen less. So my
Yes.
kids are not allowed any screen time. They are reading so much. We're swimming a lot. We're trying to replace the screen time. And it's interesting for me too, because they don't want to see me on my phone at all or on screen at all if they can't be on screen.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it's also forcing me to be on it less as well.
That makes
Which is
sense, I
good.
guess. Yeah, I'm also trying to not be on a screen too much because I have my little baby, and when I'm in front of him, I don't want him to be introduced into the world with a blank stare of a human looking past him. You know what I mean? It breaks my
Right.
heart to think about that, and it's like, wow, I want to make eye contact with him, even though he's
Yes.
not speaking yet. There's a lot of important learning going on. And if he thinks that, humans just look at screens, it's so sad.
Absolutely. That's such a good
You know?
habit to get into because
Yeah.
younger than you might think, children notice what you're paying attention to, what you value, if you're looking at them or
Yes.
something else. And so I
Yes.
think that's so important. Lindsay, I'm glad you're already prioritizing that.
Oh my gosh. I was thinking about it a lot this morning, and I was like, okay, we need to make sure that we're making
Yes.
eye contact with him as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh.
So anyways, all right, Aubrey, back on track here.
Yes, this is interesting. So let's quickly talk about how we form sentences with trying, right? So we have trying to, and then the verb. So this is an infinitive here. For example, she's trying to be more organized at work, or
Yes.
he's trying to find the right words to express himself. So that is how we construct this sentence.
And we can also hear this in the present perfect continuous. So, for example, they've been trying to have a baby, right? So, present perfect continuous, not the most common tense, but we do sometimes use it. Right?
Yeah, I might say I've been trying to eat healthier. I've been trying to lay off screen, right? So yeah, we do use this as well to emphasize that it's an ongoing effort.
Exactly. So, what about practicing? How is it different, Aubrey, when we might choose the verb practice?
Yeah, we use this with skills that can be improved through repetition. So, for example, sports, he's practicing karate or soccer. She's practicing shooting the basketball, right? These skills that need repetition, we practice.
Yeah. So again, karate, soccer, or presentations. You might practice giving a presentation, right? So she's practicing her presentation for Monday.
Or music. I say this, I'm practicing the piano, which is interesting. I don't ever say, I'm going to play the piano. I always say, I'm going to practice the piano. And then it's only for like a recital or a performance where someone might say, or in general, she plays the piano. Otherwise, we always say practice. I'm going to go practice the piano.
Yeah. The only interesting kind of caveat to this is sometimes when it comes to certain practices, again, we might say, do you practice meditation? Right? So that is doing meditation, meditating. Right.
Yeah.
But we use the verb practice more than do or participate in.
Well, it's interesting because there is the intention there of sharing that that's also a skill that needs to be repeated in order to be improved, right? Being able to meditate or practicing yoga, all of these things are still skills that we have to practice because it is hard to just immediately meditate out of the blue and you're good at it, right?
Right. It's true. I think of it as doing because I think of like, are you a meditation practitioner? We have the verb the noun practitioner, right? You're a practitioner of the craft or the I don't know, of the thing, right? The meditation style. So anyways, maybe this is getting off track a little bit and becoming more confusing, but we do sometimes use practice to say that we're doing something or participating in something, right?
Yeah. We also talk about physical skills like yoga, right? They're practicing yoga poses or performance skills. She's practicing her lines for the play. Anything like that where you would have to say them over and over, you'd say you're practicing them. We would probably wouldn't even say like she's repeating her lines for the play. We're emphasizing that it's intentional. We're practicing them by saying them over and over.
And Aubrey, how do we form sentences with this verb practice? Practicing with the ing.
So yes, we have practicing and then followed by a gerund. So this is a verb ing. So for example, I've been practicing speaking English every day, or he's been practicing giving presentations before the big conference. But how else might we construct it, Lindsay?
Well, here we go. So this is a good example of what I was saying earlier. I've been practicing yoga daily. So in my head, this could mean you're trying to get better at it, as you said, Aubrey, but it also could mean I'm just doing the thing, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the second construction here is practicing with just a noun, the activity. So it's not always a gerund, that verb ing. For example, I've been practicing yoga, or they're practicing a dance routine. And then we have one more construction. What's that one, Lindsay?
Yeah, practicing for something. So, for example, we would say practicing for plus a noun or an event. I'm practicing for my concert, or he's practicing for his big game.
Exactly. So 3 different constructions there. They all basically mean the same thing, but it is interesting how the grammar is slightly different for each one.
Yes, super interesting. I love it. All right, Aubrey, quick break. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, quick question. Do you want to feel more confident when you speak English? If so, we made a free guide for you. It'll help you avoid those common mistakes and start speaking more naturally in real conversations. Go grab it in the description below. And if this is helpful for you, make sure that you like and subscribe. We're here 5 times a week to help you connect in English.
All right, we are back from our break. Where should we go from here?
All right, so this is interesting because some situations are similar, but the emphasis is different. So, for example, she's been trying to learn English for years. The emphasis is on the effort of learning. We kind of mentioned that. Instead of saying she's been learning English, she's been trying to learn English, or she's practicing her French, and the emphasis is on the repetitive action of using the language. So, this is interesting. Neither is right or wrong. It's all about what you're emphasizing.
Yes. So we're going to play a little game here, Aubrey.
Okay, let's do it.
right.
I'll give you a scenario. You decide if it should be trying or practicing. Ready?
Yes.
So you want to become more confident.
Okay. I would say this is more like trying to become more confident. I'm trying to be more confident is what I could say.
I agree. Yes. It's not really something we practice, right? Because it's not a skill, a specific skill that we could talk about doing over and over. It's more in general. I'm trying to become something. Okay. What about this one?
Okay.
You want to give me one?
Yeah, I was going to give you one. You ready?
ahead. Yeah.
All right. You're preparing for a soccer match next weekend.
Okay, so I'd probably say I'm practicing soccer, right? If I'm actually playing the game, I'm playing soccer. But if I'm practicing drills and shooting the ball at the goal, then I would say I'm practicing soccer.
Yeah, sports or something. Because we
okay,
usually
one more for you.
practice for
Ready?
a bigger event, for a match. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. Okay, here you go. You're rehearsing for a work presentation.
I would say that's practicing, right? So, for example, I'm practicing for my upcoming presentation at work.
Exactly, right? We're preparing the presentation, and then once it's ready, if we're going to say it to a few people or in the mirror, that's practicing repetitions that will improve it.
Wow, I could see how this might be confusing for our listeners, right? I've never actually thought about this, the difference with practicing and doing something. Let's go into a role play and see if we can straighten it out. All right.
So I started a new morning routine, and you are asking about it.
All right. Okay. All right. So, hey, how's your new morning routine going?
Honestly, I'm still trying to wake up earlier, but it's tough.
Oh, yeah. I know the feeling.
But I've been practicing yoga in the mornings, and that helps.
Nice. It's good to have goals. I'm actually trying to be more organized this month.
That's a good idea. I should probably start practicing better time management too. That might help me get to bed earlier, which would definitely make waking up easier. It's so funny how untrue this role play is for me. These role plays are usually not us. It's a hypothetical situation, but usually often it's like, this is close enough to what I might say.
Not true at all.
I'm up so early every day. I would never try to wake up earlier than I already do.
Oh my gosh. You're just naturally waking up early. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've shared this on the podcast maybe, but I'm like waking up at 4 a.m. every day.
Wow.
And I was
that's
so frustrated and just frustrated. I couldn't sleep. And I finally just started getting up and trying to be more productive. I've been writing a book in the middle of the night from like 4 to 6 a.m. I write. And it's more, I'm not angry anymore when I'm awake and can't sleep because it feels productive. So
that's great. Hey, if it's working, it's working.
But then I'm tired really early, so that's frustrating.
Oh, well, I'm tired these days too. I'm getting up to feed my newborn at 1 o'clock in the morning, so it's okay.
You're tired all the time, no matter what you do.
No matter what I do. This is just how life is right now. It's
Exactly.
okay. It's okay. Well, I'm excited to hear about this book. That's exciting, Aubrey. You should let us know on the podcast sometime.
I will let you guys know when it is finished. I am excited about it. It's kind of a psychological thriller about social class, sort sort of.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'll give you guys some details. I'm hoping that it will be published. I'm looking for a literary agent, and worst case scenario, it'll be available on Amazon. But I am hopeful that it'll be like on the shelves of bookstores. Fingers crossed.
I bet it will. Because social class is a major hot button issue right now in our country. Class is a major issue.
Yeah, I think so. And it's an interesting take, but also just a good novel, I think, if I do say so myself. So yeah, I'll have to let you guys know some details when it's ready.
Will you send us free copies, or at least your co-host on the show?
Yeah, I know. To everyone out there, I wish I could, but it'll at least be inexpensive for sure.
All right. I love it. I love it. All right, let's go through the role play and see what we said. So I asked you, what's your morning routine? How is it going? You said, honestly, I'm still trying to wake up earlier, right?
Exactly, right? So this is something where this isn't really a skill you can practice. It's something you're trying to do. It's more like a goal. And so we say we're trying to accomplish a goal.
Exactly.
I said, but I've been practicing yoga in the mornings. And yeah, this is something you practice, a skill. Those yoga poses, I definitely have to practice them, or I'm like, my balance is not great. I have to practice in order to be able to do yoga well.
This is kind of what I was mentioning before with meditation. I see this as more like I'm doing yoga in the morning. I guess you're also practicing it, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
But this is where I see the verb practice.
Both could work
being
for
used
sure.
to mean
You could say I'm meditating, I'm doing yoga. No one's going to
there's
wrong.
the language police coming after you. But the verb, are you a yoga practitioner? Yes, I am, right? I mean,
interesting.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and so we do say I practice meditation, I practice yoga. And it's probably more about that it's not something you can just do and be really good at. For me, I know I've tried to meditate and I struggle. I struggle to stay focused. I struggle to not fall asleep. Like to actually do 20 minutes of meditation, that's something I have to practice. And
it's
yoga,
not easy.
Same. I have to practice or I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And then I said, nice. It's good to have goals. I'm actually trying to be more organized this month. So now I shared something about myself.
Yeah, a goal you're trying to do, right? So you wouldn't say I'm practicing being more organized, would say I'm trying, because that's a goal you're trying to reach.
For sure.
And then I said I probably should start practicing better time management. So that, again, this is interesting because this is more like a goal to have time management. But if you say it this way, I need to start practicing good time management. What I mean by that is like the repetition of being on time, of prioritizing what I'm doing. So that's interesting. I've made it a skill there that I could practice.
Love it. Okay, good stuff. Aubrey, is there another episode we should go to?
Yes, check out 2579. Don't fall into these conversation traps if you missed that one. And guys, this is a great connection skill. Like you said at the top of the episode, Lindsay, when we're talking about goals we're trying to accomplish, things we are trying to do, things we're practicing, this is where we're really sharing what is meaningful to us, what we are dedicating time and effort to.
It really matters. It's sharing it the right way, making it clear. Don't be afraid to share what you're working on, what you're practicing, what you're trying to do or become, right? Because that's what makes you interesting and helps you connect. Okay?
Exactly. Absolutely. Good. Awesome, Lindsay. Great vocab here. Great phrases. I'm excited for you guys to have these details so that you can share when you're connecting in English. What are you practicing? What goals are you trying to accomplish?
All right. Sounds good, Aubrey. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.